Welcome to this latest Business Leader Insights interview. For this series, we're interviewing inspirational business figures, and today we're talking to entrepreneur Chika Russell. You may know Chika from her appearance on Dragon's Den, where she got 5 offers for her business before actually deciding to go on her own. For those that you don't know about Business Leader, do go visit us at www.businessleader.co.uk. And a little bit about Chika before we start the interview. Chika is an international entrepreneur, mentor, and speaker, as I mentioned. She grew up in Nigeria and has always been immersed in that country's culture and food. These formative experiences inspired her to leave a decade-long successful career in finance to create CHIKA'S, which is now a well-known retail brand, which is sold in supermarkets and also online. As I mentioned, she also took part in BBC's Dragon's Den, where she received 5 offers. So now we'll crack on with the interview and welcome Chika. Obviously, welcome Chika, and good to speak to you. I mean, it would be good just to initially talk about you and your journey and the steps of, how you went about creating the business and what you did before.
Well, I started my my career in finance and banking, so numbers kind of come naturally to me. And I did my management accountant course as well, which is a CIMA. And it came a time where, I was really busy learning and love learning and absorbing information. But then I found myself, I was married and pregnant and realized that, the hours that I was working were not, how I wanted to, raise my child, and I wanted to be a really present mum. And so, there was so many things happening at once that the wanting to be a present mum and the need to keep developing and also wanting to promote more, my childhood and how I grew up in Nigeria and the fun and the joy I had and the freedom and the food. And the food was just incredible. So I decided that I was going to kind of launch something which was going to be sustainable and was going to use great ingredients, was about championing good causes and doing business with a good ethos. And basically I decided to kind of go into food, and it really, there was no other option. It was the calling to do food that championed causes and empowered girls. It was the only way to go forward. And basically, CHIKA'S was launched, and suddenly I was pitching to the likes of, Waitrose and Ocado and Holland and Barrett's and Whole Foods, and it was going wow. If and of course this is years condensed into a 30-second summary, but I guess the reality of starting was about putting each stage that I was trying to get to into a box, if you like, or a circle, and doing all the parts necessary, to kind of make that circle move, if you like, from conceptualization of the proposition to the packaging and the design and the product development. You kind of get the help of people who you get along with, and you like what they do. And that's what I did.
That's good stuff, Chika. And obviously, all of our readers will be entrepreneurs, business leaders, and many will have kind of done similar things to yourself, Chika. And just in terms of what it's like to go from a job which is kind of relatively safe, I guess it was salaried, to take that step to be an entrepreneur and take that risk. Were you worried at the time, and what kind of made your decision to kind of just go for it?
No, I wasn't. And I've realized about myself is that I'm a super, super optimistic person and incredibly positive as well. And this is a problem, actually. It can be really a big problem because you often don't think enough about pitfalls. And, you consider them, but you kind of don't think, no, that won't happen. It's fine. This is going to happen. And so for me, you tend to kind of question things when things are not working. So when I decided to leave my job, as I, mentioned, there was kind of nothing which said, "Oh my God, are you doing the right thing? Should you do it?" It was a case of, I'm leaving my job. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to do good. I'm going to empower other women. There's literally no doubt in my mind. and I went for it. And so I think if you're going to take the step to leave your job, and like all the other entrepreneurs who kind of have moved in this direction of having their own business, I would imagine for them there was no other way. It was a calling, for them. And so once you start, you then, of course, problems come and you deal with them. But you recognize, well, I've got to deal with them because the only way is to move forward.
Now, that's interesting, Chika. I think that kind of concept of that there is no other option is something that I think many people will relate to. I mean, I want to talk about, obviously, many people will know you from your appearance on Dragon's Den, and Deborah Meaden described it as one of the best pitches she has seen. So, I mean, you got offers from all of the dragons, but decided to back yourself in the end. Can you just talk us through why you made that decision and the process of appearing on the show?
Yeah. So first of all, the reason why I decided to go on the show was because once I had validated that there was a place for uh, CHIKA'S in the snack in already very condensed industry, I decided that I wanted to accelerate it, and to do that, I needed the support and help of people who knew what they were doing. They'd already been there before, and were going to work super hard next to me to, really kind of accelerate the business. And so for me, the proven people with the proven track record were the dragons. Because the view is that I've seen what they've done. Each of them have had successes by virtue of being a dragon. That's why they're there. But also with other brands they had invested in, and so I literally, again, it was no other option. I was going to get in touch with the den, and I was going to be on the show, and that was it. And so I got in touch and went through the process. And they had said, "Oh, we will sure come in and let's meet, and you won't hear anything from us. It'll be like 6 months whilst we kind of see other people, and we'll be back in touch." Anyway, so I went in, and literally, I remember 2 days later they called and said, "Yeah, great, we'll have you on the show." And so that's really how it happened. The process of being on the show was, there's a lot of work you do beforehand, a lot of work. It's not just a turn up and 15 minutes you go. No, they literally, everything, including my bra size, was in the documents I supplied, beforehand. Not literally my bra size, like every detail. So, the standing there, it was hours in my 6-inch heels, and remaining composed. And there are lots of questions, 3 hours plus worth of them. And the process was really fun. Enjoyed it immensely. The dragons are all very, very charming. This kind of, oh, they're dragons and horrible, forget it. Deborah is incredible, and Peter, literally the most complimentary, nicest person. So I was, again, I didn't go in expecting all 5 offers from the dragons. I didn't go in expecting that they would be arguing over who, wanted to work with CHIKA'S. But at the same time, I didn't see rejection either. And I didn't see them ridiculing the business or myself. And that's just my mindset, in that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it well, and something good will come of it. And really, that was all I had. And so I guess that makes me a risk taker to some extent, because sometimes you can be made to look an absolute fool, can't you? Anyway, so after the show, and having partnered with Peter and being elated at having this dragon and kind of what we're going to build together, and the relationship was good. Yeah, super excited. I just think that afterwards, and kind of going through our plans in more detail in terms of kind of where I wanted CHIKA'S to kind of get to, the direction, and again what the business was really centered on. And I cannot stress enough that at the core of CHIKA'S is, we have this woman, Chiquita, and she is everything that we stand for. She's strong, she's bold, she's a giver, and she shares. And CHIKA'S is all about sharing and giving and supporting good causes. Sure, I have investors and I have to make, returns, and I'm unashamedly commercial about that. However, my motivations and how hard I work has to be more than just that. So it became for Peter and I were not able to for me to continue and work as hard as I knew I'd need to and feel very motivated. It just yeah, it was better for me to kind of do my thing by myself for the time being. And and again, I wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was nerve-wracking. It was quite stressful at the time because here I had this incredible person, super nice, got along with him. He had experience, he had knowledge, he had financial support, and I am deciding that I'm not going to work with him. Why? I mean, it sounds ridiculous and only something a mad person would do. Maybe I'm slightly mad, but yeah, I wasn't in my gut blown away by it anymore. And a bit like marriage, kind of when you say yes, you really have to feel it in your bones and and can't imagine any other way forward. And I could see another way forward. And so, yeah, that was why.
No, thanks, Chika. That's a really fascinating insight into the mechanics of the whole thing and how it works, and obviously the decision has turned out to be a very positive one. I just want to talk now about obviously 2020. It's been a year like no other for business of all sizes. I mean, how has your business been impacted? Retail has had. Certain supermarkets have done well, but yeah, it'd be good to get an insight into how your products are faring, and has it changed your kind of outlook on the business?
Yeah, I mean, 2020, like most, really knocked us sideways. It's been incredibly tough, and I'm looking forward to the next 9 months passing. Um, the way our business is set up, it was half grocery, retail, and then the other half was high street, on premise. We were big suppliers to national chains like the Hilton. We were partners to supplying the Hilton Group, the Marriott's, and so many of kind of the hotels in and around London, 5 star, 4 star, and that was really when you've had your biggest month. Our biggest revenue month, life to date, was March, and we had all these incredible plans and all of the contract caterers we had secured. It was yes, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then the announcement of lockdown came, but our sales continued, and we were like, oh my God, this is incredible. We're still growing, and kind of there was a lockdown, but thank God. And then suddenly, April dipped a bit, and then in May the tap turned off. It was literally like night and day. And so all these many kind of, okay, well, what happens now? I've not seen this done before. Where can I read about it? What do we need to do? Those kind of didn't exist. So we found ourselves kind of slightly confused actually, as to kind of what we're going to do. But very quickly, is that kind of fight or flight. What are we going to do? We're absolutely going to fight. We're not going anywhere. So, like many other businesses, you look at what you have and you figure out how you're going to pivot your offering. If you can't come to me, I'm going to come to you, essentially. So, we lost 40% of our business, like literally immediately. And it's not, there's nothing anybody could do. Those establishments were closed. The high street was closed. WH Smith's was closed. To travel, the airlines that we supplied stopped. So we decided that we had to really become, online was the way. And we quickly, we did the website, improved the user experience, the journey, and figured out how to be more digital. And that had been something we had never done before because we were growing offline, and we always knew digital was super important, but it wasn't. We didn't deem it a priority there and then, and it became like everything. And so our online customers, like Ocado, like Amazon, which we weren't selling on before, our own web shop, Waitrose online, we focused on making our offering really shout. And that really is kind of what made the difference. People like the Vegan Kind and Borough Box, which really just worked with them super closely. And so we've managed to, not without sweat, blood, tears, and hard work, but we've managed to continue growing through 2020, in spite of losing, 42% of our revenue since May.
No, thank you for that insight there, Chika. I just want to now talk about what one issue that we're finding, and quite rightly, many business leaders are talking about is diversity in different sectors. I mean, what's your take on female representation and the representation of minorities in the sector you're in? Do you think more needs to be done? I just want to get your insight into that.
Such an incredible time actually, because whilst it's stemmed from not so positive things and events, it has brought about incredible mindfulness around it and people being super aware, those who just didn't think about it and those who were aware but didn't kind of know what to do about diversity and inclusion and championing it or not. And it's such particularly for myself, I'm a female, I'm a mum, I'm a Black woman. So you have all of these things which diversity and inclusion, tackles. It's 100% needed. There absolutely can be more done, and there's lots to do. But actually, what I'm finding in all of the various initiatives that I'm invited to join, to speak at, to listen in on, there is lots happening, and the conversation is evolving, and it keeps going. And people who have a voice, lots of them are using it, because the reality is, as soon as you achieve something or do something which others either feel that they can't do or haven't yet done or can't do, those are the people who have voices, and often the biggest voices. And so what this period of the last 7 months has done is encourage those people to stand up and speak and to be heard. And so in this industry, FMCG and grocery, there are so many initiatives, and I'm super proud actually recently to be acknowledged by the IGD as an influential person in championing change in the industry, because if you do not stand for what you believe in, then what do you stand for? And it's kind of one of those topics for some people. It's a bit, oh God, we've heard about this. We've literally chewed this so much. I'm just kind of over it. And it's like, okay, well, shall I stop talking now? No, actually, I'm going to talk some more so you can, if you've heard it, hear it again. And if you've heard it again, listen one more time so that it really is ingrained in you, and you understand the need for you and your platform to kind of to join in this conversation. And people like, Co-op are doing an incredible job. Sainsbury's, an incredible job. And there's so many businesses who are using what they have to do more. And at Ocado, they've been running an initiative on how they actually bring on and created a Bain group within the business. How do we attract more businesses from people from the ethnic minority? How do we make them feel more included and make Ocado, more accessible? And the industry definitely needs it, because not every entrepreneur is super confident and believes that they have a right to be where they are. And so, and the knockbacks in the industry are tough, and can be brutal. The competition is rife. So having businesses like these actually open their arms and say, we want you and you have a voice with us. It's incredible.
That's good to hear that positive outlook there, Chika. And you mentioned championing change. I know that Chika Foods is associated with World Vision, and can you just tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah. So God, where to start? So I am youngest of 7 children, and whilst I was born in the UK, I moved to Nigeria to because my dad really wanted his children to have a huge affinity and recognize their roots and know the culture. And so in Nigeria, kind of enjoying my life and carefree time, making great friends. One day, my parents said, "Oh, you're moving to London permanently, where you're going to start studying." Oh, like the music stopped playing. It's like, what? What do you mean? And I have all my great friends here, and having to move away and start this new brilliant life and education, I left some friends behind who didn't have the same opportunity. They didn't have the same, support that I had, and great fortune. And it was really a sliding doors moment for me, being that I got to come to the UK, but my friends, they couldn't even continue their education in Nigeria because of a disparity in how often male children are treated in families that don't have, as much money. And so these female friends of mine, recognizing, for me, even age 6, that it was just wrong, that they had to, grow up at age 12, working in their parents' store and not having access to education. I knew that whatever I did in life, at any point in time that I could, I was going to help make that difference for my friend Ife, and for my numerous friends. And if I could just change one person's life, it was something I didn't have to do. I did it because I wanted to. And so I started my journey of sponsoring girls, actually, at age 16, with little pocket money that I had. And then when I moved into banking, I earned a bit more. I changed my sponsorship, from 1 to 16. And that's kind of when I speak about, a confluence of things happening. I wanted to start a business which was really based around the whole giving back, as well as, don't get me wrong, really, really good snacks and good food. But at the core was how we could sustainably support and empower more females through education. And so I was incredibly honored when World Vision welcomed us into the Empowering Girls program. And so our snack, for change is about, we didn't, and it's great because lots of businesses do this. And in any way you can give, it's perfect, even if it's something you just thought of recently. CHIKA'S was built around giving back. So we decided that every penny, every bag we sell, a penny a bag will go towards Empowering Girls program. And it wasn't dependent on how much money we made or lost or whether we were profitable or not. It's irrespective. Every bag we sell, penny goes towards this great cause. And it's incredible because it's not just about sending a girl to school, the work that World Vision do. It's about how you change mindsets, and a bit like the challenges we have on this side, where in the UK, whereby people, leaders, decision makers, policy makers have to understand the need for diversity and inclusion. It's something they have to champion, and it has to, trickle down from the top. Because if you do all the work on the ground, the people who make the decisions, who do the hiring, who decide to list the products, don't champion it, then it's futile. And so similarly in Africa and around the world, in fact, the work that World Vision do is about helping to educate and help business leaders to understand the importance of girls and the role they play in society. If you educate a girl, she will educate her children. She's less, likely to be married off at age 14. She can really help to improve her community. And the more people educate in the community, the more the community will thrive. They see their role not just about being a homekeeper or helping mum at home or managing the family business. It's about how you can give more back. And so, yeah, we've been, really fortunate to be involved in their program. And, the more we sell, the more we can do. But we have got a very, big target, which I'm confident on achieving, and that is to have touched 38,000 girls by 2025. And we're well on the way.
No, thanks, Chika. That's a very inspiring story there. And I just want to ask you a couple of final questions. I mean, looking into 2021 now, considering 2020, what are you looking forward to most?
I've said I'm probably going to kind of maybe do more reading for myself in 2021, as I do enjoy reading. But I'm looking forward to growth. I'm looking forward to continued success. I'm looking forward to a little bit more. I don't mind the instability. you can even say I probably enjoy it a bit because it keeps my mind super active and me on my toes. But I think all of us could do with a bit more predictability in what we do. With COVID, and then with Brexit. So from a business perspective, whilst I'm excited for 2021 because I think, and fingers crossed, that we are kind of touch wood through the worst of this pandemic, and also, on a personal level, for the millions of people who it has wrecked their lives. I think the world would be a slightly happier place in 2021 because of all of the absolute craziness of 2020.
No, thanks, Chika. No, one penultimate question. What is your piece of advice to someone who might be watching, who's working in a company, think about launching their own business?
Um, if you're thinking about it and you feel that you have this calling to do it, you have to just get on with it. And I always use this acronym, which is GOWI, get on with it. Just go. Of course, not without first at least, trying to analyze, do as much analysis as you can, and risk mitigation. And there's something I call a pre-mortem. And this is really for any decision you want to make or you're thinking about doing, just assess what happens just if not, and the reality is for many of us, if you leave your job and you kind of give yourself a period of time to really follow your dream or what you think is your calling, if it doesn't work, go back to a job. Dust off your CV and just get back out there, and you'll love yourself for having tried. And if it doesn't work, it's not, this kind of thing about failure. I tried, it didn't work, and I'm scared of failing. Business is just so full of, as I mentioned, letdowns, rejection. It's literally like this the whole time, up and down. And I look at my experience as a real journey. It's, and appreciating every stop I reach on my journey. So, the highs of, at stop A, where something amazing has happened, and then stop B, where it's been like an absolute mess. And as long as you move from, stop to stop, and you learn something at each way, if you do a whole loop and you come back to where you started, and go back to working for a business, that's okay because you've done a whole journey, you've stopped at many stops, you've had richness of experience, and that is definitely, I think, what life is about, experiences.
No, thanks, Chika. Some good advice there. One final question. When are we going to see you on Dragon's Den in the chair?
Well, we have got a bit more to do with CHIKA'S, and it's all happening. It's great, but I love helping people, and I think I would be a harsh but very supportive and encouraging dragon. So let's see, what this space holds in the coming few years. It definitely needs some energy and some sass from.
Definitely, thanks, Chika. We just want to say as well, we've been sent some products, and we highly recommend them. They're really, really good. So that's great, Chika, and thanks for sending them through. Any final thing you wanted to add?
The product you have there actually are the rice crisps. That's a super new product, first to the market actually, of its kind, and yeah, my most recent creation, which I'm super proud of. So yeah, I thank you for having me on your show, and I hope that a couple of my words has resonated or helped, provide clarity or comfort for people, for some people listening. I would say finally that, for as many of your the people who are listening are business owners, I think being a business owner or a business leader can definitely feel overwhelming and lonely sometimes. But I think all of us have to, take advantage as much as possible of the small wins that we experience, because sometimes they're not not enough of them. And like me, we often are always looking, okay, that's great, I'm so glad we've been listed there, I'm so glad we've had our biggest month, okay, what's next? And taking the time to reflect on those difficult parts, or when things are a bit easier, making time to find your balance is like a bank that builds up, so that when things are really crappy for an extended period of time, you can kind of reach into your bank and kind of live off your stores. So I think that's really important for for all of us, and yeah, and something I recommend for everyone to do.